Welcome to this new how-to. In this how-to we're going to look at how you can fix the cockpit of a C-17 Globemaster and specifically to use it with the Salty 747 mod, which is a nice mod for the default Boeing 747, which you might have already seen. So what we need to do is we need to go to the community folder, right, which you can find in the Microsoft Flight Simulator local cache packages community. And there you will find the C-17 Globemaster folder. Inside that folder you will find the sim objects, the airplanes, and then eventually the C-17G directory, which contains a lot of additional directories like the checklist and several textures, sounds, panels, models, and some config files. So what we need to do is we need to go inside the panel directory. These are the files which we need to replace, and to show you with which files we need to replace it, well, we need to go to the Salty directory. So in the community folder you've got the Salty directory, which contains the sim objects, airplanes, Asobo _B 747 _8 India, and then panel. Simply copy these files, then go over to the other folder and replace them. You will get a nice prompt and you can say, okay, hey, I want to replace them, so let's do that. Then we need to go back one level up and go to the model directory, which contains a lot of other files. In the Salty 747 directory we need to do the same. So if you go to the model directory, here it is, you will find one file, simply copy it and then paste it and then again replace it. Once you've done that, you can switch to Flight Simulator and it should work. So let's have a look at it. So I'm gonna zoom out. So here's the Boeing C-17 already. Keep in mind that I did a little bit of trick because I started Flight Simulator after copying the file, of course. So make sure that you first close Flight Simulator before copying the files, else it will or might not work. So we're gonna select ready to fly, and here you can see the nice cockpit, the Salty one, with all kind of details. So there are some things which you need to keep in mind, and that's specifically to the IRS buttons. The IRS buttons, you need to set them to nav. By default they're set to off if you copy the files, and that will cause some issues because then the navigation doesn't work. So let me start the airplane in this case. I can show you that everything works. So I'm gonna switch on the external power also, just in case. Gonna switch this one to auto, then gonna switch on the APU. And the APU normally takes some time before it starts, right? So keep that in mind. As you can see, already several screens are switching on. That's cool. APU normally takes a minute or something to start, but you can always try to switch on the APU generators. Once that's done, well, here you can see they're on now, so that's good. We don't need to touch these buttons. Check the generators of the engines, which are now switched to on, which is okay. Then validate if the engines are, or the oil pumps are on or off. Well, in this case they were already on. Let me move to a different view because I can imagine that it's pretty hard to see. So once we've done that, we can switch on the fuel pumps. And now we've done that, we can switch on the beacon, and then we can start the first engine, right? So set the starter for to on or off, in this case to on. Then go to the button here and set it to run, and then keep an eye on the values. The values should normally go up. Sometimes it takes some time. But here you can see them already increasing. You can see the values here, right? So that's fine. So in the meantime, while the engines are starting, you can see that the system is not really happy. To fix this, what you need to do is you can press the VWAR map, or the I would say, what is it, the VWAR map button, which you can use to switch to different views, which are displayed here, and then you can see that we've got everything here. In some cases, as mentioned already, if it doesn't work, go to the top of the cockpit and then make sure that these buttons are set to nav. If they're not set to nav, it will not work and it will have all kind of issues. In the meantime, the engine has started, so let's go to the second one. We can do it easier. Or actually, you should do it 1, 4, 2, 3, if I understand correctly, due to the checklist in the normal Boeing. But for now, I will switch on everything just to speed up the process. In the meantime, we're gonna use the MCDUs to configure the flight, or set the position. So set the position to this, and then on the next page you can have a look at the other information if required. That's not needed. So these are the IRSs, right? So these are the buttons on the top of the aircraft. If you don't set them correctly, then you will have some issues here. Then the departure. Well, we're actually at Andrews Air Force Base, so that's Kilo Alpha Delta Whiskey. We need to set it in the init, so let me do that. We need to set it here. You can see it populates nicely, and then we can define on destination airport. In this case, we're gonna try to set the same. Go to Perfinit. There you can set the cruise altitude, the reserves for the fuel, and the cost index. Right, so let's assume that we're gonna fly at 10,000 feet. Cost index 25. Then we can define the thrust limiters and also make sure that the information is set correctly. So flaps, we set them to 10 degrees. And after we've did that, we can press the V1, VR and V2 to make sure that the values are correctly populated, right? And that's useful because if we would zoom out and then go to the display here, it will set the V1, as you can see here. It might be a little bit hard, but let me. Here you can see the V1 is being set as we speak, so that's good. Don't forget to press the execute button if there's I would say a light burning here, then you need to set it. There's of course no lags. So departure, what we're gonna do is we're gonna ask permission to take off. So we're gonna say how we want to have a clearance, and then we're gonna request clearance for the flight plan.
Andrews clearance delivery Boeing 112 IFR to Andrews ready to copy.
And then wait till we've been assigned the runway.
Boeing 112 is cleared to Andrews Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 19 right climb and maintain 7,000 feet. Departure frequency is 125.65 squawk 117
7,000, so we're gonna acknowledge.
Boeing 112 cleared to Andrews Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 19 right climb and maintain
Romeo.
7,000 feet. Departure on 125.65 squawk 117.
Then we can select also the SID, right? So let's select this one and then select route. And make sure that you hit execute again to update the flight plan. So then we're gonna contact ground.
Andrews ground Boeing 112 with Echo ready to taxi IFR.
To ask for permission to taxi.
Boeing 1123 taxi to
hold short of runway 19 right using taxiway Alpha. Contact tower on 118 decimal. Fall when ready.
So I'm gonna acknowledge it.
Taxi to and hold short runway 19 right via taxiway Alpha Boeing 112
So in the meantime, right, what we did is we selected the correct approach, or the correct instrumental departure route, which has now added several waypoints, right? If we would open the VFR map, you would see, hey, these are all the points we're gonna visit. So that's all fine. So let's accept that. Then we're gonna take off, right? We first need to make sure that the flaps are set correctly. We set 10. And then we're gonna try to taxi in this huge aircraft, which I didn't even show you yet. Right, you can see it's a huge one, but it's a cool one. So let's put thrust. We're gonna do it a little bit strange. Hopefully the guy has run away below us. As you can see, it's really difficult. So let's ask for pushback. Because we can't turn ourselves using this airplane. I wonder where that guy has gone. Hopefully he's not under the aircraft. It looks like. Bad start of the day. So let's see. Oh, here he comes. Lucky us, he still survived. You can see that there are still some issues with this model, right? So because if we zoom in too much, then you would see only this. Also cool. So let's wait till the pushback starts, and then we will let the, I would say, aircraft, or the let the airplane, not really the airplane, sorry, the pushback car push us back as far as possible. So we're gonna push back. That's all fine. So press the Charlie key, and then you can still control the ATC. Wrong direction. It's always hard, right? But never mind. Then we end up in the grass, and then we can make the turn. Hopefully. Let's see. Actually, it's pretty good, right? So gonna stop.
Andrews ground Boeing 112 requesting the end of pushback.
So now now we're there. We can let's say increase throttle. First make sure that the guy's away in front of us. ITHC for now. If you've got difficulties managing the aircraft, like what I have making the turns, then you're probably going too fast, so you should go slower. If that doesn't work, there's always a trick to use the star key on the numeric path to push, I would say, to put only the brakes on the left side, or if you want to turn the other way, you can do that using the minus key on the numeric path, and then it will put the brake on the right side. So let's go into a little bit easier view. You can see we need to do the same trick here. Increase throttle again. And then we're at the start of the runway, so we can open the HC again. I'm gonna make the turn. We need to increase. Increase the throttle a bit. And then we can ask the tower for clearance. So we're gonna ask for clearance. In the meantime, we're switching on the flight director. Auto throttle, you can switch it on. Makes it easier, right?
Boeing 1123 cleared for takeoff runway 19er right.
So we're gonna acknowledge.
For takeoff,
And then it's time for the real fun, to take off with this airplane. So first stabilize the engines. Yeah. Everything is stabilized. Remove the parking brakes. And then let's go airborne. Called out the V1, as you can see. So we're gonna pull back the stick. And we're climbing, so we can pull in the brakes or pull in the brakes. Let's say ensure that the gears are up. And now we're flying this great airplane, I should say. I'm really, I would say, impressed by this model and how easy it is to fix. I would say the cockpit. By default, if it doesn't work, you still would like to use the default airplane as it is, being provided by the developer. Then you can't use the salty plugin. The salty mod, I should say. But I think the salty mod does add a lot of useful things to this airplane, so consider to use it. So here ends this how-to. So in this how-to I showed you how to fix the cockpit, or how to use the salty mod cockpit in combination with the C-17, which is a really nice airplane to fly with. Hope you liked it. If you liked it, then consider to use the like button. If you've got questions or comments, then please use the comment box below this video. And if you want to stay up to date about new videos I'm posting, then consider to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching and see you next time.